Welcome to the Sharkpreneur podcast with Kevin Harrington and Seth Greene. Kevin Harrington is the inventor of the infomercial, one of the original sharks from the hit TV show Shark Tank, and has generated over $5 billion in TV and digital direct response sales. Seth Greene is the world's first trusted authority on cutting-edge direct response marketing, a best-selling author, and the only 3-time Marketer of the Year nominee. On the podcast, Kevin and Seth interview sharkpreneurs who share straight talk on what it takes to explode your business.
Why do so many businesses struggle while others seem to explode overnight? Do you wish you had the secret to this type of exponential growth? Now, I've scaled more than 20 businesses to over $100 million, and it's not just luck. In my new book with Mark Tim, Mentor to Millions, you'll learn the repeatable framework I use in all my business ventures for massive success. Order at kevinmentor.com and get over $1,000 in bonuses. Head to kevinmentor.com.
Welcome to the podcast. This is your co-host, Seth Greene. Today, I've got the good fortune to be interviewing Divya Parekh. She is an award-winning business relationship advisor, international speaker, and 9-time #1 international best-selling author. Her books and strategies have been endorsed by the likes of Brian Tracy, Marshall Goldsmith, our very own Kevin Harrington, James Malinchak, and Sherry Wynn, and many more. Divya, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me, Seth.
Let's go back in time a little bit. How did you get started?
Well, I used to be in the corporate world running multi-million-dollar projects for Fortune 50 and Fortune 500 companies. And there came 2008. And in 2008, there were layoffs. I had grown my career laterally. I did not get laid off. That said, when I saw how people were laid off because of profitability, and I totally understand because I worked in there. That said, I wanted to do something that was more tangible, that where I could be part of transformation on a day-to-day basis. And that's what created the shift to have me move towards coaching.
Well, congratulations on that. What is a business relationship advisor?
Well, business relationship advisor is, to me, relationships are the bane of anything. Whether you are connecting with anybody, whether even if it is a grocer, or whether it is your client, or it's your audience, or it is your neighbor, relationship is what makes us tick. Because as human beings, we are social animals and we cannot do without each other. And just kind of even think about it. If you are holding a grape in your hand, and if you think about where did it originate, it has traveled, and probably hundreds of people have been involved in the production of that one grape. So we may think we're independent, we are not. So that's where the relationship comes in, is that care. And when you care, share. And when you share, also serve. So when you make that as your principle, as part of your relationship building, it creates for impact and influence.
That is beautifully said. So as a business relationship advisor, what do you do? What do people hire you for?
Well, so here's the thing. I help people grow their businesses and help them position as the trusted go-to leader in their expert, because there have been data after data and statistics that show that consumers do not trust brands. So how do you build that relationship with your audience? How do you build relationships and position yourself such that your audience or your prospective customers or your partners, whoever it is, perceives you as that trusted person, not only trusted person, but as the trusted leader in your industry. So you become the go-to person for them.
That makes a lot of sense. Who is an ideal client for you?
My ideal client is somebody who's hungry, who's driven, a high-achieving entrepreneur who's ready to take themselves to the next level and position themselves to become the trusted leader and who is ready to create massive impact. Because to me, without impact, life does not have as much significance as it is with impact.
So can we narrow that down a little bit? Because there could be an entrepreneur who's ready for all those things and who started their business yesterday and has made $100 and can't afford you. And there could be an entrepreneur who's the CEO of a Fortune 500 company. So who is more ideal? Who's an ideal client for you?
Okay, now if we are going to bring it down to monetary, so somebody who has been in business for at least a couple of years and is willing to invest money, and I'm not going to say it's a cost, it's an investment, because when you went to college, you didn't think about it, you got it done because that's what took you to your next job. So somebody who's been in business, somebody who has an expertise that solves people's problems, somebody who is doing good financially because there is an investment and knows the value of investment.
Of course. So is there a particular company size? I mean, you worked in the Fortune 500, the Fortune 50. Is that who your target is now? Do you work with smaller companies? If so, obviously, they could have been in business for a couple of years and still have no money. So I'm not asking you for your prices, but I'm trying to narrow down, because I'm sure it varies. Is this someone who's running a 6-figure company, 7, 8, 9, 10 figures? What industries do you work the best in? Can we narrow it down just a little?
Yes, absolutely. So I work with people who are making 5, 6 figures up to, so there are 2 segments. One is individual entrepreneurs who are making between 5 to 8 figures. And then there are companies who are either startup or even up to mid-sized companies having employees between 50 to 1,000 employees.
All right, so let's talk about that 50 to 1,000 employee range. What are the mistakes that they're making most commonly when it comes to trying to communicate what you help them with? Like, what are they doing wrong that you help them fix?
Great question. So one of the things that I will share is that a lot of people, when they're changing jobs, they're like, oh, let me wait 5 to 6 months, let me settle down. And that's when I'm going to be thinking about performance. And that's the last thing you want to do. The key is to start building your personal brand too. And a lot of people are like, oh, why do I need a brand building? Here's the thing, folks, regardless, wherever you are at, whether you're an entrepreneur, whether you're a corporate professional, here is the thing. People will perceive things about you. People will form opinions about you. So either you can project, you can position yourself in such a way that people perceive you as you want to be perceived. And this does not mean that you put on a mask, you put on a facade. No, you authentically show up in a way that people perceive you as you want to be perceived. And that's called brand positioning. And if you're talking about the corporate, it is creating that executive presence. And that's the key that people forget: how to build strategic relationships, how to be present on visible projects so that you're building your executive presence. And when you have that executive presence, it's not about having a title. You could be in any position. And without having that title, you can have authority where you have the presence, where you have the relationships, where you can influence people to follow your new ideas, to have that buy-in, because stakeholders are not easy to negotiate with. Stakeholders are not easy to sway on your side. So if you want any of that, you want to move forward, you want to create impact, because especially today's generations, millennial as well as Z generation, are looking for meaning in their lives. They are looking for fulfillment. You want to drive bigger change that's bigger than you. And even if you are an entrepreneur, you can be part of that bigger impact and bigger change. So the key is to create a personal brand. And that personal brand can be your business brand, because people do business with people. And when you position your brand in a very strategic way, authentic way, magic happens.
Absolutely. You are 100% right about that. I know you've had some incredible results working with your clients. Can you tell us one of them? Hey, this is what they came to you for. This is what their issue is. This is how you help them. And this was the magical transformation you were able to engineer.
Absolutely. I'll share a couple of stories if that's okay with you.
Please.
So I'll share a story about an entrepreneur. So one of the entrepreneurs that came to me, perfect. She was just amazing and had great results with her clients. It was just that she was not clear on her offering, not clear on her messaging, and she was showing up, but it was diluted. Just kind of think about sunlight. Whenever you're out in sunlight, it's diffused. Of course, you get warmth. It's going to have its impact. But now, if you take that very sunlight and push it through a lens, you can create a laser beam out of it and even burn the paper. So now you're creating that fuel for fire. So similarly, what we did was we worked on her mindset. And in her mindset, she went from not seeing herself as an expert to the person who could help others transform. So that was the first step. The second step was we pulled her skill sets together and crafted a very clear messaging for her arena as to what is it that she did. And then thirdly, it's action set, because it's important. If you do not take action, things are not going to happen. And as she started taking action, people started seeing her as a leader. And that worked out through multiple ways, helping her write her book, helping her with her messaging, how to show up in one-on-ones or showing up on social media, interactions, building relationships. And now she is in such demand that she went from charging from $100 an hour for her session to now $600 an hour. So that's one of the stories. Another of the stories is one of the corporate professionals, beautiful gentleman. And I'm not talking about either being more beautiful folks, no gender discrimination over here, talking about a person who's beautiful from inside out. And every time he would apply for promotion, he would get just a turnaround, roundabout way. Oh, yeah, we can talk about it in the next cycle. We can do this, we can do that. And his boss was not on his side. So then what happened was he got an opportunity to go at 30% raise to another company. And because he had really good friends, so now, of course, he's not getting along with his boss, we talked. And there was this full chance that he would not get the promotion over here. He decided to stay with the company. And then he came to me. So I wasn't part of his journey along this side. So here he is. He has given up his wonderful next job where he was getting 30% extra in compensation. Not only that, promotion cycle comes and goes, no promotion. So here, the boss who had promised him did not deliver on his promise. So we sat down and we looked at, okay, what can be done? How could he influence his boss? So then we sat down, we talked as to what he could bring to the table. What were his accomplishments? And of course, given the time we have, we cannot go into the details. It was again going back to positioning what he had done for his company. So for example, he never captured the data that he had brought in $50 million worth of business to the company. So we worked together and we highlighted those things. And also, we worked on his mindset that it's okay to share that he did have 30% raise expected in another job, but he didn't take it because he wanted to stay with the company, which is very contrary to what millennials do. And I said, highlight that point and helping him feel comfortable in his skin, having that confidence in his own narrative, that is so critical. He sat down, he had a conversation. 6 months down the road, his boss was championing for him to the upper management and talking to the VP and site leadership team. This guy needs to get promoted. And he had his promotion with 30% because they matched it. They wanted to keep him. And now he's leading a team and has a great executive presence where he's not only able to influence people, but also drive impact.
That is absolutely incredible. Your passion is obvious. What do you like best about what you're doing?
I love the transformation that I see in people, that when they come, they're in a place that life is mediocre. And to me, mediocrity is not acceptable because each and every person has so much potential. And when they move from mediocrity to being extraordinary, because think about it, what's the difference between extraordinary and ordinary? Just that little word. So why not tack on that word and live a life? Come alive. Just not pass your life by, because each and every one of us has been gifted with this precious gift of life. So come alive. So important, especially in this day and age when there is so much fragmentation in society, in politics, in world. We are blessed wherever we are. And come alive.
Absolutely. For our folks who are watching and listening and want to learn more about you, the work that you're doing, and all of the books that you've written, where is the best place for us to send them?
Well, they can connect with me on any of the social media. I'm on social media, and they can come to my website, which is www.entrepreneur.divyaparekh.com. And if you want to reach out, you can email me directly, contact@divyaparekh.com.
This has been Seth Greene with Divya Parekh. Thank you so much for joining us. We know your time is incredibly valuable. We greatly appreciate you spending some of it with us.
Thank you so much for having me, Seth. Really appreciate it.
Our pleasure. Thank you, everyone, for watching or listening. We will talk to you or see you next time.
Do you need money to fund your idea, product, or service? Are you ready to take your business to the next level but need capital to get it done? Kevin Harrington has heard more than 50,000 pitches and knows how to help you make the perfect pitch to get the funding for your entrepreneurial dream. He's distilled the process down in his perfect pitch cheat sheet, and it's yours for free. Just text PITCH to him right now at 727-888-2100. Text PITCH to 727-888-2100 right now and claim your free perfect pitch cheat sheet. Text PITCH to 727-888-2100 to start funding your dream today.
This show has been produced by Market Domination, LLC. To discover how you can have your own show completely done for you and turn it into a real published book and become the authority in your marketplace, go to www.marketdominationllc.com/podcast offer.